Darkness has always been humanity's oldest fear. When the sun set in the ancient world, night was not just absence of light, it was a battlefield. Shadows hid predators, spirits, and things no human could explain. And among those terrors, one figure kept returning again and again across thousands of years and countless cultures: the vampire. A creature that looked like us, lived among us, but craved our blood. The trail begins over 4,000 years ago, in Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. Archaeologists have uncovered clay tablets etched with warnings of spirits that refused to rest. They called them the Ikimu. These were not peaceful souls. They were shadows, cursed to wander the earth, attacking the living and draining them of vitality. For the Babylonians, death did not mean safety. If someone died violently or without proper burial, they could rise again in hunger. And then came Lamashtu. She was more than a nightmare, she was terror itself. Mothers whispered her name in fear. She was said to slip into homes at night, stealing infants from their cradles, drinking their blood, gnawing on their bones. Families wore protective amulets with prayers carved into them, desperate to ward her away. Imagine the fear. Your newborn's cry echoes through the darkness, and you wonder, is it hunger, or has the monster come for your child? The nightmare did not end there. As these beliefs spread westward, the Greeks and Romans gave the vampire new faces. The Greeks feared the Empusa, a demon who seduced men before devouring them alive, leaving only lifeless husks. Then there was Lamia, cursed by the gods, condemned to wander endlessly. Her punishment, to feed on children, night after night, unable to stop. The Romans spoke of the Strix, a monstrous night bird that feasted on flesh and drank blood in the dark. These weren't fairy tales to them. These were answers to questions they could not explain. Why do children vanish? Why do healthy men waste away overnight? Why does the night swallow people whole? But perhaps the most chilling proof that these fears were real lies not in stories, but in graves. Archaeologists have uncovered skeletons pinned to the earth with iron stakes, jaws stuffed with stones, bodies mutilated so they could never rise again. Imagine living in a village where the dead were feared as much as the living. You bury your neighbor, but you also hammer a rock into his mouth, because if he returns, he will come for you first. These rituals were not rare. They were survival. To the ancients, blood was not just fluid, it was life itself. To drink it, to take it, was to steal existence. And so, the vampire became not just a monster, but a symbol of everything humanity feared: death, disease, and the unknown. But here's where the story turns darker. Many of these so-called vampire outbreaks were not caused by monsters at all, but by sickness. Rabies swept through villages, turning victims into violent, foaming beasts that recoiled from sunlight. Tuberculosis spread silently, draining families of life, leaving them pale and coughing blood. And a rare disorder called porphyria made skin blister in daylight and gums bleed, staining the mouth red. To us, these are medical facts, but to those living centuries ago, they were proof that the dead had returned to feast on the living. This is the terrifying truth. Vampires were not born in castles, nor invented by novelists. They rose out of fear. Every unexplained death, every disease with no cure, every shadow that lingered too long in the dark. The vampire myth fed on terror, and in turn, terror fed the myth. From Mesopotamia's clay tablets to Greece's shape-shifting demons, from Roman nightbirds to the mutilated corpses in unearthed graves, one warning echoed across generations. The dead were not resting, they were waiting. And this is only the beginning. Because if you thought Mesopotamia and Rome were frightening, wait until you see what came next. In the forests of Eastern Europe, a real figure emerged, not just legend, but flesh and blood. His cruelty was so great, his thirst so unrelenting, that he inspired the most famous vampire of all time. In the next chapter, we enter the world of Vlad the Impaler and discover the dark history behind Dracula himself. So, if you dare to continue, follow us for more. The story only gets darker from here.